So let me tell you where my problems start, Joe.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Henry
excited.
Cejudo gets on the microphone and has the balls to call out 3 guys who have not won fights since 2016. 2 of which have not fought since 2016. One of which was retired in some sense. One of which has pulled out of 2 fights. The other one just gets knocked out all the time. He called out Uriah Faber, Dominic Cruz, and Cody Garbrandt. This being on the same show that both Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling won. Oh, by the way, who's the last guy to beat Henry Cejudo? Joseph Benavidez, who's sitting there waiting for a flyweight title shot. To call yourself the greatest combat sports athlete and then go out and call out 3 people who haven't won in 3 years is just contradictory to so many points. And I've had people say, oh, the money fights. I hate to break it to you guys. Ain't not one of those damn fights bringing in that much money, especially in this ESPN era. And then I follow that up, Joe, and I say, what if Demetrius Johnson wanted the money fight instead of fighting Henry Cejudo? What if he had said, you know what, I don't want to fight Henry Cejudo, this guy that never makes weight. I don't want that. I want to go fight somebody else. Well, there'd be no Henry Cejudo where he is. And I thought we were done with all this. The super fight chasing, it seemed like we were finally done with it. But it's not super fights. These guys don't win. What the hell's going on here, Joe?
I think from the perspective of predetermining who he was going to call out after the victory was basically, if you're going to get some folks in that division that are going to move the needle ahead of guys like Aljamain Sterling, those are the 3 names that most people would know. I don't know as many people would know who Cody Garbrandt really is outside of the MMA bubble. They do know who Uriah Faber is. And I'm sure most of them would know Dominic Cruz only because Cruz was the champ and, he's doing commentary for the UFC. So with Cejudo coming out and calling those guys, I see what he's doing. Those are the needle movers or potential needle movers in that division. They're not big names like we would know in other divisions. So I see what he did there, but the reality is it's not going to happen. I mean, I can't see it happening. I mean, Uriah wins in Sacramento and he calls out Cejudo. We'll see what happens with that. I doubt he'll get a title shot, but like you said, these guys aren't winning. They're not competing. I mean, Dominic Cruz with some of his social media stuff, and even Dominic Cruz in the post-fight from UFC 238, I don't think there's anybody out there more than me other than Dominic Cruz's family that would love to see his ascension back into the top of the rankings. I'd love to see it. Fantastic. I mean, the guy was a great champion. He fought whoever he could fight. The guy competed at 155 at one point, right? And so did Uriah, and half of these guys that were competing for a long time. But the reality is, for a guy like Henry Cejudo, again, it's just a strange guy, man. He's just a very, very strange individual. And there's other guys in that division that deserve shots, both at 125 and 135. But calls with the names, right?
One of our commenters says, Dana White claims that Uriah is too old, yet he's co-main eventing Aspen Ladd and Jermaine Durandamy. Well, that's the point. He's co-main eventing Jermaine Durandamy and Aspen Ladd, a fight that probably shouldn't be a main event realistically anyway, based on name value. He definitely shouldn't be in another bantamweight title fight. It shouldn't happen. I don't need it. As far as Henry Cejudo moving up to featherweight, I mean, sure, if he does well at bantamweight, and beyond just one fight. I'm not into the idea of holding up 3 divisions at once. The reason that UFC 238 was so special, Joe, is because almost every single fight on this show mattered. It was a 7-hour show that felt nowhere near it because of what mattered on the show. That was corny to me, what he did. Joseph Benavidez is sitting there waiting for a title shot. Joseph Benavidez beat Henry Cejudo.
Yep.
I don't. And honestly, if you all want to see why I want Joseph Benavidez to win a title or get a title shot so much, go back and look at his post-fight interview backstage after he lost to Demetrius Johnson the second time. He knew that he was never going to get that shot again because he knew how good Demetrius Johnson was, and he knew that there wasn't probably going to be anybody that came along and beat him. However, there has been. He's got new life. Benavidez versus Cejudo, in my estimation, is the fight to make. I would also put Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling on that show.
Yeah, for 135. Now, has Benavidez committed to competing to 135, or he doesn't care really?
I'm not sure, but I mean, Henry Cejudo does still have a flyweight title.
Correct. Yeah, but